Alright guys, what's up? Today I'm going to be showing you a very simple tutorial on the very basics of buttons. So, the first thing that I'm going to do is, actually what I've already done, is I put a plane and a cube with a rigid body and a collider into just like a default scene, alright? So I'm going to be showing you how to call functions from buttons, which is basically like all you really do with buttons. So, first we're going to need to write the function that we're going to call from the button. So on the cube, I've already made a script called object jump. All right, and in here, you don't need start or update unless this script is going to do something else besides have like the function for the button. All right. So for a button to call a function, it needs to be public. So we're going to say public void pop. Okay, we're just going to call it pop. And then in here, what I want it to do is I just want it to pop the box up a little bit every time the button is pressed. So we're going to say get component rigid body, and this will return the rigid body that's on the cube since this function is on the cube, right? And then we'll say dot add force, and then we'll say vector3 dot up to make sure that it's getting popped up times I don't know. We can say serialized field, pop force, and then we'll say this is an int, okay? We'll say times pop force, and then we can decide that in the inspector, and then the force mode is going to be impulse, all right? And that's all you need for this script. We're going to go back into Unity. And then on the cube, you'll see, assuming you've saved, the pop force will appear. We'll set this to like, I don't know, 20 to start, because I don't know how much it's going to need to actually pop. I'm going to center it a bit more. 0, 0, and then move it forward a bit. Perfect. And then, finally, we need to add the button, all right? So we're going to add I'm going to add a TextMesh Pro button just because it looks nicer, but a normal button works the same. Actually, I'm not. I'm just going to make a button, all right? And then you need to make sure that it's in the canvas, okay? You can do that by going in here and then holding Alt and clicking the middle. It'll send it to the middle. The same with anywhere else. It'll send it to like the corners. I'm going to have it right at the bottom here so we can see everything going on. Also, under your canvas, make sure you go into canvas scaler and change constant pixel size to scale with screen size. This will make sure that your buttons and everything actually get larger with the screen. So if I go like this, you can see the button kind of increases in size. But if it's constant pixel size, you see the button's taking up too much of the screen. Now it's taking not enough of the screen, and it's just a mess. All right. So you're almost always going to want to have scale with pixel size, or scale with screen size, sorry. So now finally on the button, you can name it whatever you want. Down here we're going to go to on click, all right? We're going to add plus, and then we're going to drag and drop whatever object has the function on it. In this case it's the cube. We're going to put it in there. And then here is where you actually call the function that you want the button to call. So you go to object jump, whichever script that you used. And then in here we'll find the function. It's called pop. There you go. And now it should all be set up. So we're going to go ahead and start. The cube is going to fall, and then we can pop. So that's a little bit too much, so we can decrease it to like, I don't know, 5. And then you can see that every time we press the button, the box is popping. All right, and so that's kind of the very basics of how to call a function. You can also, if you want text, there's an issue here because it's TextMesh Pro text, but normally you would just have a TextMesh Pro or just a text field. And then we would say pop. We can set that to the middle, make it a little larger, 20, and there you go. You got your little pop button. So this can be used for a bunch of different things. It could be used to open a settings menu. It can be used to load a scene like I did in my other video that I'll link in the top actually of how to change scenes. I used a button for that. And yeah, it's just generally, it's used quite a bit for the UI of your games. So hopefully this helped out. Feel free to like, subscribe, all that stuff. If there's any more questions or I didn't explain too well, make sure you leave a comment. Even if it's on something different that like this tutorial isn't necessarily covering. And yeah, I hope I was helpful and have a nice day. Cheers.